God bless you. This testimony time again. I am so honored to have with me one of the original 8 members of the church. When the Lord told me to start New Life over 22 years ago, He sent me to 2 people first. This was Roosevelt and Dorothy Calhoun, and he's gone to be with the Lord. But I am so glad to have Mother Dorothy Calhoun with me today. How you doing, Ma?
I'm good.
It is such an honor to have you here because I've been trying to get you here for a while. Every time we go to sit down, something comes up. But this is a moment. I want to talk to you about a few things. You've been with us for 22 years from the very beginning, and this has been a tremendous faith walk. We've had to trust God through everything. And along the way, you've had ups and downs, many trials and tribulations, but God has always brought you through everything. I want to start by talking about the latest project that the Lord has given you. I've been wanting to talk about the homeless shelter for a long time. Tell me about the homeless shelter at New Life.
Okay, the homeless shelter is housed in the gym, and at the present time we have about 25 residents.
Okay.
We house women, children, and men.
Wow.
It's known as a transitional type housing, meaning that they can stay at least 30 days to get their affairs in order, or try to get a job, or get housing, etc.
So what all do you do? Do you feed them meals or provide them stay? How does that work?
Okay, we are open in the afternoon at 5. We close in the morning at 7:30. That is for the purpose of them getting out to look for a job or look for housing during the day. Okay. If we have children, they go to school or either to daycare during the day.
Okay.
We get 1 meal a day, which is from 5:30 to 6:30. And I just want to stop here and thank the members of the church for being so good to us. We have not had to buy food since we've been in the shelter. They have been excellent support. And I just want to say thank you at this point.
That's good. I mean, that's a blessing. And one thing I don't have to do, I never have to worry about the things God has always provided for everything. Everyone's volunteer. Everyone is, they seem to be working very hard. Everything works out. Let's talk about some of the, okay, it's one thing to provide a service, but this is really a ministry. Tell me about the ministry side of the shelter.
Okay. Do you want me to get back to what we provide? Like we provide a place for them to take a shower. We have a laundry room, and we have a clothing closet. That's basically. We also have different people coming in to minister.
That's what I'm talking
to
about.
them.
Right.
Certain days per week.
Wow. So it's not just providing a means, but also ministering to the soul. Do people ever get saved?
Right,
That's
do.
Good. That's good.
They get saved. Matter of fact, we have 3 candidates for baptism now.
Good. That's good.
And we also encourage them. It's not mandatory, but we encourage them to attend Bible study and to attend church during the church service on Sunday.
Sometimes it's hard to do a ministry like that because sometimes people judge the people as you got to be righteous to stay here at the church or whatever. But I like the fact that people can come as they are. We're not after trying to, because there's so many walks of life people are coming in from. If we put all our judgments on them, they won't be able to stay. So how do you handle that?
Okay, whenever they come in, I tell them we just got one rule.
Okay.
And that rule is respect.
Wow.
We also just love on them and don't judge.
Right.
We tell them that I have been where they have. I've never been homeless,
right,
but I've been in some rough spots.
Wow.
And I also make it known to them that it's not none of Mother Calhoun, Leah's board, or Pastor Ellison shelter. It's God's shelter.
There you go.
And that He is the one that is providing everything they need.
The thing that I want to hear now, do you ever get testimonies back?
Oh, yes, all the time. The sad thing, this was a sad ending, but it was It's where this lady came and she had had heart surgery. She was estranged from her family. She was able to locate her family, her daughter, that she thought was in California. We found out her daughter was in Alabama. She was able to locate back with her daughter. And with her, I think she stayed with about 6 months.
You know, I remember her. She's a Caucasian lady. She was just so sweet. She had gotten saved and turned her life around. She was excited. She was always in the service. And she told me, she said, I want you to be the one to do my funeral. And I, when she said that, I said, "Oh, you'll be fine. You're gonna live a long time." But just teasing around with her, just didn't know how serious she was. But she died a few months later.
Yes, she did.
Wow.
After she went back home, got connected with her family, she died.
Wow.
But she always let it be known that she wanted you to do.
Yeah, that's something. Wow.
And she always said that Pastor saved me.
I didn't save her.
And then we always had to correct her that God saved you.
Wow.
God just used Pastor as an instrument, but she loves you. She had a love for you.
Yeah, it really hurt me when she passed. And what about some other? Are any of the ones? Okay, you said in the daytime, you take them to a place where they can start looking for a job. Take them to the library or whatever.
Right. They use the computer in the library to search for jobs, to make applications.
Okay.
And we also take them to the mall area where it's a bus stop, so they can use the bus to go different places to do interviews, doctor's appointment, or whatever they need to do.
So they're not just sitting around.
No.
They're actually actively working and trying to make things happen in their lives. We're just kind of giving them a hand along the way.
Right. We don't have janitors there, so we ask them to keep the place clean.
Right.
They clean up behind themselves. Right. And also to look out for others. I say, if you see another person in need, you might not have any money, but you have an encouraging word.
Wow.
Some people, we have a lot of people that's ill there. They might not be able to wash their clothes.
Wow.
Some people, you might have 2 bars of soap.
Wow.
And they might not have one.
Wow.
So share.
Wow.
We teach them to share with each other so that everybody can pull each other up. And I tell them, whenever they do something for other people, it's like they building a house for themselves, except God is laying the bricks.
Wow.
And when God lay the bricks, they don't ever be moved.
That's good. That's another testimony. Are any able to find jobs? Do you have any people that find jobs? Give me one example.
Okay, this person, young lady named Joyce, she left in March. She got hired by the transportation system, MATS, here in Montgomery, in April the 1st. And the 1st of May, she sent back a check for $500 offering and tithe to Pastor Ellison and the church.
And yourself.
And myself,
right.
Just to show her appreciation.
Wow.
Then she also said when she's able to get transportation, she's going to come and volunteer in the shelter.
So she didn't forget.
She didn't forget.
Wow.
We have a lot of examples. They don't send that much money, but they said thank you. They called.
Thank you means all the world.
We even have them calling from, we had one guy had gotten back in prison. And the sad thing about it is he went back, but he didn't forget us. He wrote back and said thank you.
Wow.
But now he's out again.
Good.
And we're able to help him.
That's good.
And while they are in there, they always say, when I get out, I'm gonna come back.
Wow.
And I'm gonna volunteer. Can we come back and volunteer?
That's good.
Sure.
That's so good. That's so good. Well, I'm just so glad. And that was a burden that the Lord put on your heart at the first beginning. That you always told me, one day, Pastor, we need to have a homeless shelter, and God is fulfilling that dream. But it's amazing how along the way we have dreams, and those dreams are fulfilled, but the things you have to go through sometime to get to that dream. We lost a general of a man, your husband. He was the great man, and that was Deacon Roosevelt Calhoun. You and him, like I said before, was one of the original 2 members of the church, original 8 members of the church. But the thing about it is you went through that. Somebody is going through some things right now. And not only that, you just went through another death. You just lost your brother the other day. How do you handle that, Mom? With the workload you're doing now, with the responsibilities of helping others, how do you help others when sometimes you might need that same help?
Well, the strength that you see in me is God's strength. He promised me years ago, in 2003, that he said, I was walking one day in the neighborhood. He said, you see those two trees? It was two tall trees, and at the top of them was moss. And he said, those trees been there over 50 years, and said now they turning gray just like you are. And said, I have taken care of them through tornado storms, and they still standing.
Wow.
And he said, look, I even put some little trees around them to keep them company.
Wow.
And he said, I'll do the same for you. The trees, all those trees do is look up to me every day.
Wow. Wow.
And he said, I'll do the same for you if you just look up to me every day like those children.
Wow.
I mean, like those trees. I'll give you the strength that you had when you was 20 years old.
Wow.
So I said, God, how could that be? He said, the strength that you had at 20 was my strength.
Wow.
And my strength never weakens.
Wow. Wow. That's good.
And that when people say, Mother, you strong, you don't see my strength, you see God's strength.
Wow. 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 You just keep going. Just keep going. You just keep going. Somebody needs an encouraging word. I want you to look in the camera and just say something to somebody. Somebody need. You'll be surprised at what people, when they come to church, what they're going through. Some people stop coming to church because, as I talk to people, they say, you know what? I was just going through so much I didn't have the energy to even come to church. Somebody needs to hear a word of someone that you may look like you got it all together and everything, but you've been taking blows like everybody else taking. But the difference is you have God. Could you please just kind of tell somebody a word right quickly?
What I want to say, the key word is through. You just got to know that it's the end in sight, and that God never leaves you. He's always there. Never let the devil fool you or trick you into thinking that you're doing it on your own, because you are never on your own. It's always God's strength.
Wow.
God is in control when you wake up in the morning. If it was not for God, you wouldn't open your eyes. If it wasn't for God, you couldn't even bat your eyes. So if you think it's your strength, you're going to give up right away. But you got to know that it's God's strength.
Wow.
And that God never fails. He's there all the time.
Yes.
Even when you think you're doing it on your own. It reminds me of that footprint, that sin of the footprint, where the man said that God, at my lowest point, I didn't see anybody's tracks but my own. I just saw one set of tracks, and God said to him that those tracks were mine, they were not yours. I was carrying you. So I want you to always remember that how tough it get, what kind of storm you in, just keep moving.
Wow.
Just keep moving. Because it's through. The key word is through.
Amen.
You're going through, and it's an end in sight. A good end.
Well, that's good. I really appreciate it, Mother. I believe you help somebody. I believe somebody is going to be relieved, because it's good. You hear about other testimonies, but sometimes we just know somebody that made it through. It is old saying, the old folks say, I'm going to look at you and talk to you how you made it over. Well, the key word is through. And for you, that I preached on last Sunday that it says Jesus went about healing all those who are oppressed by the devil. And that's what God will do. He will heal you from whatever and relieve you whatever oppression you may have. God will see you through everything and relieve you your pressure. God bless you. Thank you so much for being with me this morning. I thank you, Mother.